we have had like a setup budget increase. I'm just kidding, we're literally in my lounge. But normally I would film this video in my car and we would go and get a drink and I would sit in my car and answer your questions. I don't necessarily want these questions to be like advice style questions. I basically said I want you guys to ask me whatever you want, and I kind of just want to have a gossip. Stevie, if you want to come in, then come in. If you see that opening and closing, it's Stevie being severely indecisive of whether or not he wants to be in the room or not. Oh, come in then. Come in. He's probably going to come and join us in the video, which would be great. But I just thought today it was absolutely pissing it down with rain. Just wasn't a vibe. I kind of wanted to just have a gossip and a live catch up with you and just vent about things that, like, I don't know, just we talk about, like, with each other, like in my comment section on TikToks and things like that, like pop culture-y kind of stuff. So I just thought, you know what? This actually warrants sitting on the sofa. Okay. Use myself as a napkin, because that was red wine. Did I get that on me? I actually don't think I did. Oh, it's gonna be a good day. But to sit on the sofa, glass of wine. So I think I'm going to post this Sunday evening for you guys. Normally I would post this on a Sunday morning, but let's have this up on a Sunday evening. I wanted to get the mic out because, guys, I can actually like have a little bit of a production going on. I'm not completely, incapable. I've even got the freaking fireplace going. I thought, let's give it sofa vibes. We can just catch up with each other. Oh my gosh, that's good. Cheers. Grab yourself a drink. Come join. I'm literally just gonna like go through the questions and we can have a catch up. And I feel like maybe the wine will help me be a little bit more like honest and whatever, but I'm always totally honest with you guys. So let's jump into it because I absolutely love these videos. It's been a while. I was literally like doing my teeth the other day or something and I thought, oh my gosh, I feel like I've mentioned a few things recently and I've not like updated you on them. So that's what today is gonna be about. By the way, there was absolutely like no genre when it came to these questions. I basically said I want to gossip, catch up, life update with you guys, hot topics, combos, that sort of thing. So it's probably going to be a complete mixed bunch of randomness, but I feel like that's okay because that's kind of what I'm about. So let's jump into it. Somebody said, starting off strong, why are there so many fucking married men on dating apps? Like, are the men okay? Girl, it is not just married men on these dating apps. I feel like it's like straight men on the gay dating apps. It's hell out there. I'll tell you that for free. I feel like, I was thinking about this the other day. I feel like marriage as a concept is just, I also sort of feel like this might happen with university as well. There's always going to be people that want to get married. There's always going to be a need for people to go to university, like for jobs such as like within medicine and things like that. But I just don't really think it's going to be a thing anymore. Marriage especially, I just think you just sort of see a lot more of the cons, and I'm sure, like, I don't know the stats of things, so do not quote me on this, but I just think, is the divorce rate not completely increasing? And obviously with money and just things getting more expensive, weddings are meant to be so expensive. So I just think with the way the world's going, like putting all of that money, unless you have like just so much disposable income and want to get married, I just like don't think it's going to be a thing anymore. Because also these men are out here embarrassing us, and like, why would we want to commit our whole lives to an embarrassment? And like, I just think like, do men not understand the concept of like wasting their own time? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think this about men that... Go on then. Go on then. Oh, you can't leave the door like that. Like, I just think, do they not care that they're also wasting their own time? Like, if they don't actually want to be with the person that they're married to and they're on these apps, like out here cheating, or people that just cheat anyway, like, I know as women, we think when that happens, God, like, what a waste of my time. But it's also just like such a waste of their own time, and they don't seem to care, and I will never understand that, especially like men. Well, obviously I know why they do it, but like that just, I can't believe there's so many men out there. Sorry, I'm kind of like completely diverting, but I can't believe there's so many men out there that would rather live their life inauthentically, let's say, and like get married, have children, when really when really they'd rather actually be with a man, and they'd like rather live their like one chance of living. They'd rather live their life as a lie and like waste that woman's time, and like I just strange creatures, and it's why I don't bother. Someone said they're moving to a different area with their boyfriend, how to feel settled, confident, and meet people. You're low-key asking the wrong girl, as someone that's like never had a boyfriend, never had a serious boyfriend. But if you're moving there together, do you mean like it's going to be new for the both of you? Because I would hope that you guys could lean on each other for support, and perhaps, I don't know, I would always think I would want to, like, where do you go out and meet people really? In places that is probably going to be like similar interests. I actually went to a comedy club last night, and literally my best friend went to go and get drinks, and the girl that I was sat next to, her boyfriend went to go get drinks, and then me and the girl just started talking. I just feel like if you go to an event or something, you're obviously going to be in the same room with people that share a similar interest in you, because you're all at that same event. So that's what I would say in terms of like making friends. That's probably like the best thing I could suggest. It's like go to an event where you're all doing, or like going to watch someone or something, and just have a little mingle. You and your boyfriend have a little mingle, meet some other couples, or what other coupley things? Like a wine and cheese tasting evening, like, but like an event type situation. I feel like that could be cool. But in terms of feeling confident, I always think if you're moving somewhere, a fresh start, you've got to see like the positives in it, of being like, nobody knows you here. You have the chance to like reinvent yourself completely, and like low-key fake it till you make it, like confidence wise, because nobody knows that you're not confident. Nobody knows you. Like, you got to see the silver lining, and like you could totally be this like brand new character. I was going to say like put on a fake accent. No, don't do that. Be authentic, be yourself. But you just have to remember, you've got like such an amazing opportunity to low-key reinvent yourself in a new city if nobody knows you. This is so random and specific, and Sarah, if you're watching this, the people want to know, and I am said people, okay? What's on the Ibiza itinerary for Sarah's birthday? Just booked again, and for summer, and I can't wait. For those of you that don't know, one of my besties, Sarah Ashcroft, we do a trip to Ibiza for her birthday every year. Like, I have to, every year I say like, I don't want to go to Ibiza like more than once, because the once is going to be Sarah's birthday. We make it special, we make it fun. I don't like to overdo it. It's more so because I want to see more of the world. Like, I love Ibiza, do not get me wrong, but I love it when we go for Sarah's birthday, and like that's the special trip of the year. That's what I mean by that. In terms of the itinerary, I don't know yet. It's pending. Sarah does always put an absolutely gorgeous itinerary together. We normally like to do one big like party event. I don't actually think we did it for Sarah's birthday, but I think last year we might have done it when it was like May bank holiday, and we went to Ibiza and we went to Ants. That was my first time I'd ever gone to Ants. That was so much fun. That was kind of like our big thing. I don't really like big warehousey type raves. It more comes from a place of feeling claustrophobic, and like I like to know where the exit is, and like if I can leave. So if I'm like deep submerged within a crowd, I also know that like that's probably where like the fun vibes are, and I would hate to be like a party pooper and be like, guys, I'm gonna stand on the side, like, do you know what I mean? So sometimes with those things I'd rather not go. But Ants, really loved Ants. We as a group collectively love a boozy lunch. We also love a boat day. Shout out Ombra Yachts. They always are the company that we book with when we go to Ibiza. We pay, like, we love them. They just do whatever you want to do, and like give such an amazing experience, and they can take you to like another part of the island, and sometimes there's beach clubs there and like restaurants there. You do have to book them in advance. All of the names are escaping me right now. Shit, I literally cannot remember. Oh my God, someone in the comments, let this girl know what is the beach club restaurant that you like get a boat to. I know there's a few, and we do a few, but honestly, I think it's worth investing on maybe like a couple of days going to like a bougie restaurant, like beachfront restaurant. They always have the best vibes. I also love like a beach bed, but that was more sort of like what I used to do when I used to go to Ibiza with Hannah and Matt. It's like we would always get like beds for a day, maybe at Ushuaia or something, and like just get like a few bottles of rosé and like be on a beach bed. With this group, it's more like boozy lunches, and then we like go out into the evening. They really love Pikes, but I feel like I'm not hearing good things about Pikes recently, so when I know Sarah's itinerary, I'll be able to let you guys know, or you can just follow along. It'll be in July. Guys, this may have been the most requested update question. Tell us, like, what's the update with the date that you were getting ready for? I think that might have been like a couple of get ready with me's ago. Guys, everyone take a sip, because just have a guess. It was ended, by the way, but just like have a guess what the status is. He has been blocked. Correct. I feel like it's not really sharing too much information to like share this kind of thing, but no, we had spoken like last year, and it was when I'd gone off to Australia, so maybe actually the year before. When did I go to Australia, guys? I literally can't remember. It was like the end of 2024, I think. We'd met on Hinge and started speaking then, but then I went to Australia. I think I came back, and I think he was like speaking to somebody else, which totally fine, because I was in Australia for like a good few weeks, and to just be like pen pals for that amount of time is just gonna be a bit boring. But I remember being quite excited about him, because like on paper, like had so much in common, like family wise, upbringing wise, just like even like what our parents do for like work and stuff. It was just all very samey. He was really witty. I love witty people. Like that for me is one of my top 3 qualities, because if you're witty, you're actually also very smart. He was also very smart. So we kind of like, I think I actually deleted Hinge for basically the whole of 2025, and then got it back, and then I don't know if it was like embarrassing or not, but he low-key like found me again on Hinge, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this just looks like I've been single the whole time, which I have, obviously, but I didn't know like obviously what he had done over like the last year, to be honest. So yeah, I think I was getting ready with you guys when I was going on date 1, and that date was very much like, I think we were both we'd not met before. Like, even though we'd been speaking 2 years before, like, or a year and a half ago, we'd not met. And then the date 1, I feel like it wasn't so much like a flirty energy. I think we were both, well, I know from my perspective, I was like quite excited to meet him. So like, we basically spent the whole date just like asking each other like every single question under the sun, because I think we didn't want to get too excited about each other if it actually was going to be like too good to be true from like either side, I think. Well, that's how I felt anyway. I was like, I just want to know like everything, and then we can go from there. So the first date I think went well, and like obviously he did as well. Then we had like a second date, which we were meant to do something a little bit different. For the first date we went to the pub, and then the second date we were meant to do something a little bit different, like a bit more of an activity, and like that's good for me, because on this second date I was more thinking like, I know everything that I need to know. It's all like green tick so far. On this second date, I want to see if there's actually like a spark and like chemistry, and you know, has he got the confidence to kiss me? Because we didn't kiss on the first date, but like I don't always do that anyway. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna force it if it doesn't like feel right. And because the first date was such a like questions, like just really getting to know each other, it just wasn't that energy. But like that's what the second date was for. I was like, I hope we can have some sort of chemistry. But then it ended up being like a bit samey to the first date. Like we went to the pub again, so I was a bit like, okay, but you know, still could be potential for a bit of like chemistry. But again, it was a bit like samey. So much so, like after the second day, he like dropped me home, and like we didn't kiss again. And I was a bit like, I think the person that I would want to be dating, not that like I want them to find me irresistible. I would hope that you would like want to have kissed me on the second date. Do you know what I mean? And what should have been like a red flag that I hadn't really deeped too much when he first said it, but then like I'm starting to understand is that he told me like the last 2 girls that he'd spoken to kind of like ended things with him, or like they decided to go their separate ways, was because he was like too nonchalant, like just kind of, they couldn't read him, that sort of thing. So now I was starting to gauge this. I was like, right, okay, there's being like chill, and then there's, I don't know, acting a little bit like non-interested. So I even had to ask him, I was like, can I just check that you do fancy me? Because it's absolutely okay if you don't. Like, because like I said, like we sort of spoken a little bit like ages ago. So, and we hadn't met that time around. So for this, like if I don't meet your expectations, like don't feel like you need to like force anything. Because I certainly wasn't going to force anything, but I just wanted to make sure, you know what I mean? And he assured me like, yeah. He also said like, you can kiss me, you know. And I thought, absolutely not. We're not doing that. You need to kiss me. That's the end of that. Do you know what I mean? I know I haven't really dated a lot of people, but one thing I know for sure is that I would want him to make the first move to kiss me. And then this is where it all went downhill. So I don't know if that upset him, that like I asked, like, do you fancy me? And then he got his like nonchalant, triggered, like backed up like a little bit. But the next day, the next day, I can't remember where I was. I think I was in London all day. I was having a terrible day. Really bad mood. Really stressed about like a work thing, which I had actually told him about on the date. I didn't go too much into it because I needed to remind myself this is the second date. I don't really know this person, and he doesn't necessarily like need to know all the ins and outs. And because it's like my industry, I also feel like, again, I didn't want to like share too much because it's a complicated world, okay? And I didn't know how long this would be going on for, so he like really doesn't need to know all of that. But I think he like texted me being like, how's your day going? Like, mine's really boring or something. And I was like, oh my God, no, like I'm literally having the worst day. And he was like, oh no, like what's wrong? Tried to explain it again, sort of in summary. And he was just like, it'll blow over. So I was like, I mean, yeah, I guess. And then I think I said something else because I don't know, I was just, that felt really like abrupt. Like, you've asked me what's wrong. I've sort of explained. I was like, even said like it was getting me really down. Like I was feeling a bit like, yeah, stressed and depressed about it. He was like, well, I'm here if you want to like vent about it. I was like, did I not just do that? And you just said it'll blow over. So I think I said something along the lines of, you know, no, it's fine. You haven't really said too much. And I'm realizing perhaps you're actually not the person to like speak to about this because, yeah, it's just a bit complicated and perhaps like a lot to unpack that he doesn't need to like know all that stress. Do you know what I mean? And he was like, what do you mean I haven't said a lot? I was like, well, you know, I just sort of explained to you like what was wrong and you just said it'll blow over. And he was like, oh right. It was like I was gonna offer some advice or something, or like I was gonna try and make things better. And I was like, okay, like how are you gonna do that? And he was like, I don't actually know. I was like, right. Things like that just pissed me off. But I was trying to be very aware with the fact that like I was already like in a bad mood today. But then I also hate that we have to like make these excuses for men and just be like, oh, he's just like a boy. Like, do you know what I mean? Because even if you like don't really know like a situation, I feel like for me, if he had like a work problem and he was telling me he was like stressed and like upset about it, I would be like, oh my gosh, you know, like obviously I don't really know too much about that, but like I hope you're all right. Sounds really stressful. Like, I don't know, just I would personally be a little bit more empathetic, especially if it's someone that you're like trying to date. And I think I sort of, after he said like, oh, I don't know, I was just like, okay, like it's fine. I think I tried to say like, let's just move on because I didn't want to dwell on it or whatever. But I don't think he liked the fact that I said that he didn't say a lot, because then he was like, I was trying to offer you a little bit of empathy. And I was like, is the empathy in the room with us? I don't know. And I didn't say that. I can't remember what I said. I would get the conversation up, but like, it's just like, that's maybe like TMI. He could be watching this, who knows? But I think I said, yeah, no, I think I was just looking for a little bit more support in that situation, but like, it's fine. He literally goes, oh, right, yeah, no, I'm not your therapist. I was like, okay, like, I don't need a therapist. It's just a little work thing that I've just expressed that I was stressed and a bit depressed and like upset about. And I don't think it's too much to perhaps maybe want a little bit more empathy or a little bit more of a support, then it'll blow over. Wasn't saying any of that. I literally said to him, I was like, I wasn't explaining all of that to you because I want you to fix it. Like, I just thought you might offer like a little bit more. And it was so strange. It was like he was looking for a reason for this to be bigger than it actually was. Because I tried to shut the conversation down like a good few times. And then he just kept being like, yeah, this is too much. Like, I think we're just on two different pages. So I was like, okay then, cool. Like, I didn't realize wanting a little bit of like empathy, or just like, I didn't even like necessarily say all of that stuff to him to like want empathy. I just thought he might have given a bit more than the answer that he did, and like that got my back up a little bit, but I don't think I was really expressing it had got my back up. And then we also tried to move on from it, and I just sort of said like, I think in situations like that, I'm realizing like I perhaps need a little bit more of like words of encouragement, or just to perhaps, you know, speak to somebody else, but I don't really know you that well. So like to expect that from you at this stage is my bad. And he just got so like upset and agitated about it. I think I said, and I genuinely think it's because I used the word nonchalant that it just completely triggered him, because I said the nonchalant vibes in like situations like that, I just don't think is what I need. But I was sort of saying it to him, you know, so therefore going forward, we both know how we handle these types of situations. I thought I was sort of giving it like just communication of like how I feel, but he was just like, yeah, no, or like, I think we're on two different pages. Like, I've tried to offer you empathy. All you've done is moan. And guys, I swear on my life, like, I have like read the conversation to my friends, and my friends would tell me if I was being too much, like they actually would. And it's just like, he just like a switch flipped, and he was just like, all you do is moan, like blah, blah, blah. I was like, what do you mean all I do is moan? This is the first thing I've like had an issue with. It's nothing to do with you. It's like myself and like my work. You asked. I don't even know. And like, but I will say, have a conversation, and he kept being like, do you want me to explain like my point like a bit more? And I was like, no, like literally no. You've already said like, we clearly don't see eye to eye on this, so I don't think there's too much point in explaining ourselves. So I said, yeah, I did say I think it was best to leave it and move on. He's like, you didn't leave it. I was like, yes, I did. Like, me explaining myself and like how I'm like leaving that isn't me like not dropping it. I don't know. He was like, I hope you find what you're looking for. And I said, I hope you find someone as disengaged as you, and blocked him. So that was the end of that, because it was giving like I can see perhaps why the other girls said he was like too nonchalant. And it's like, if you can't even just offer like, because he kept trying to be like, I don't know anything about the situation. I was like, okay, well just fucking pretend. Like, do you know what I mean? Just like, but even like I said, like, even if you had a work problem that I didn't know anything about, I would say, oh, like, I don't really know too much about that industry or like how it works, but it sounds really stressful. Like, if you want to grab a glass of wine later, let's do that. Like, why is it so hard? But yeah, that was the end of that situation. I'm still like fresh into dating, so maybe there was things I was doing wrong too that like you just don't do, but I don't know. I personally don't think I did anything, but I was aware of the things that I could have potentially have been doing too wrong, which is like talking about work to someone I've been on 2 dates with. Maybe you just keep all of your problems to yourself until date fucking 4. I literally don't even know. But that's the update on that, guys. Sorry, it's nothing interesting. We move on. Let's go into something a little bit lighter hearted. Somebody said Wuthering Heights new season of Bridgerton reviews. I have not been to see Wuthering Heights yet, and I kind of don't know if I want to like fully go to the cinema and see it. Like, I feel like I might just wait till it comes out on like Sky Movies and like watch it in the comfort of my own home. I'm not sure. But I haven't been to see it yet. I was actually going to go tonight, but because it was like pissing with rain, and I thought this is like the perfect evening to go to the cinema. But then I realised that I needed to film this, and then there's things that I need to eat for dinner, like in my fridge, that might go off. So like maybe another time. But I have watched the new season of Bridgerton. I really kind of hated that they had that big gap in the middle. I'm not really sure how I felt about it, to be honest. I kind of loved the new characters. I loved the like potential development of some of the like existing characters. Me and my friend have said that we're going to do like the Hyacinth dance TikTok to Charlie XCX tomorrow, because we're having a girls' dinner and we want to make a TikTok. I kind of like loved all of that sort of side of it, but you know, not like completely in love with it, but not totally against it. I love that the mother, this makes me feel so old, because the mother, like the Asian mother, she's the one in Harry Potter, isn't she? She's like, sorry, Harry, I didn't hear you. Like having a Scottish accent, I've forgotten that character's name. Literally everything in my mind I've like forgotten the Ibiza restaurants, forgotten the name. I can't remember, guys. You know who I'm talking about, the one that Harry fancies and wants to take her to the dance, but oh my god, I've forgotten the guy's name as well. Someone's already asked me. Robert Pattinson, whoever the character he plays. Cedric. No. Yeah, Cedric Diggory. That's him, right? But no, I did like it. I didn't like the fact there was the big gap, but it's worth a binge. I had like literally just binged the previous series, so I would be like totally up to date, but I feel like it was totally like irrelevant. I didn't really need to do that, to be completely honest, except maybe some of the updates with Penelope, like to know her character beforehand. Do you know what I mean? I won't ruin it in case you haven't watched it, but yeah. Anyways, somebody said, update on endometriosis. I suffer. Do you have any symptoms? I had a couple of questions about this, because one of the questions actually said, like, you never really speak about it. Guys, I have like stage 4 endometriosis, but I am like most of the time pretty asymptomatic, which when I had the operation and they could see it, and like went for like my follow-up update and we were just like going over like the results, they were pretty much like, oh, like, I mean, for how bad it like looks internally, the fact that you're asymptomatic is kind of insane. So I am on like birth control because it's so difficult. I have to be on like a hormonal contraceptive, because the hormonal contraceptive helps with the endo and helps like reduce the disease. But obviously having endometriosis can make it really difficult to have children in the future, and like being on birth control for like a long amount of time can also impact fertility. So it's really hard, because obviously when you go through things like that, like they do ask you all of those questions about children, and it's just something I've never thought of. Like obviously like never really had like a long-term boyfriend, but they were basically trying to be like, haha, better hurry, like if you want to have children you should start like thinking about it soon. And I know it comes from a place of like they see women come in like mid-30s wanting to have children, and like it just does make things like a lot more difficult. So I know it's coming from a place of, you know, if you want it to be like as easy as possible, you should think about it soon. But then it's just so conflicting, because it's something like I've never really even thought about. I don't even know if I want to have children. Like I've never met anyone that I want to procreate with, and especially with the way the world's going, like I just don't know. I literally don't know. I have thought about freezing my eggs though. I think I might like do that for my 30th birthday, no lie, like just to be on the safe side. If anyone's done that, let me know, because is that something that you get on the NHS? I'm not 100% sure. I have a feeling she said like in my catchment area it is, but that actually might have been IVF, not freezing eggs. I think it costs a lot to freeze eggs. But if anyone has done that, let me know, because it's something that I've thought about, just to be on the safe side, and like if I ever wanted to, at least they were there. Lots of questions about how to be comfortable with being on your own, no boyfriend, and feeling lonely. I get this quite a lot, and it has been like a bit of a topic of conversation at the moment, guys, of like a couple of friends have sort of said to me like, I can't believe you've never had a boyfriend. Can I just set one thing straight? I have had boyfriends, but like in school, so very early teens I personally wouldn't count them as like a serious relationship because I don't think they were ever longer than like a few months. Do you know what I mean? And I think I probably had 3. I had one situation that lasted about 5 years of it being like on and off and toxic as hell, and both of us just doing awful things to each other. And I think we actually only gave it a go for about 2 months before it was like, absolutely not. And I just felt like we probably only did that because we felt like we owe it to each other to like try, because like otherwise what the hell is this? Because we were also like best friends at the same time. Lethal combo, don't do it. It either ends one way or the other. Mine was the other. Yeah, I would say I've never had a serious long-term boyfriend ever. That is 100% true. That like in my adult life, when you're actually like, you sort of know who you are and therefore like can probably take relationships like a bit more seriously. Like I never had one. But that's just because not that I think boyfriends are to fill a void, but I do think a lot of people get into relationships to fill a void that's missing. And I've just never felt lonely. I have such an amazing group of friends, live close to my family, really like close with my family. I've got my Stevie. Yeah, I don't know. I've just never felt the need. I've been so self-sufficient since I was about 18, 19. Like I've never like needed a boyfriend for anything. Do you know what I mean? If I want to go out and kiss someone, I could go out and kiss someone. Like, do you know what I mean? I like my own space. I like being alone. But like I've never felt alone. So I don't really know what to say, because I would never rely on a man to like fulfill my loneliness needs. Like I've got my friends and my family for that, and like that for me is just fine, and they're not pissing me off, and I'm not stressed that they're like betraying me behind my back. So don't know what to say. I just hope that you have a great circle of friends and family, and if you don't, then that's when I would suggest like going out to like events by yourself, and you know, starting a hobby where you're able to interact and meet new people and like fulfill or like just fill that loneliness void. Okay, another update that you probably got, like I got a lot of questions on, is what's the update with Mr. Italy? Now I never really divulged too much about that whole situation, I don't think, but a lot of you did put like pieces together of like how we met, when it happened, and like all of this sort of stuff. He did come over to see me in London. Guys, when I say like for the like sort of 2 years, no, maybe it was like just year, that I like had my last trip out to Italy, and therefore was like the last time that I saw him. I don't know, like I feel like he had these like Italian shackles on me, that I was like comparing every interaction I had with the way that he made me feel when I first met him, which was genuinely like this like love at first sight, like firework moment. Like I've never felt anything or experienced anything like it. But then again, as I'm now realizing, I was in Italy, and like my mum warned me about holiday romance. I didn't listen. Apparently it's a very common thing to feel this way. But obviously I had gone back out a few times to see him. We'd had like a year apart, hadn't really spoken because he just entered a very busy work life period, like within his line of work. And I think like he had like a girlfriend then like after me that he'd met, and just like whatever, didn't interact on social media or anything like that. Then we did again, like they always come back, guys. They always come back. Yeah, and then he said he wanted to come to London to see me, and he did. But this is the thing, is I think what I really liked about him was he was so chilled, and like I can be a bit structured. I don't want to say uptight or anything. I just like to like there's always that meme that's like, I love to go with the flow. If I know what time the flow starts, what I need to wear, how many days, like, do you know what I mean? Like that's very much me. My New Year's resolution every year is to like try and go with the flow like a little bit more. And he really brought that side out of me of just like relax, like blah 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 blah. But again, we were in Italy, so like that was his home turf, and like I kind of had to let him take the lead, and it was just amazing like when that was happening. But then obviously he came to London, but there was just things like even like before he got there that I was a bit like, what? Like I like get a bit frustrated, and it's not just with this situation. Like I feel like even like sometimes within like my friends, sometimes I'm a bit like, why do I have to compromise on the way that I am to suit like everyone else? Does that make sense? Like, if you know I like to be on time and like I like to do things a certain way, like why don't my friends, or in this instance it was him, like why don't you see that and then therefore like want to make things easier for me? Like why do I always have to put myself down and like stress myself out to make things easier for you? Like there's got to be like a balance surely of like just meeting each other like in the middle. And yeah, like even like beforehand, I mean like he wouldn't tell me when his flight was, and I was just like, what? He was just like, just trust me, like I'm gonna be there. I was just like, okay, like, and he was coming from a place of like, Rachel, relax. I'm like, okay, I understand about like being relaxed, but I feel like that's just like a normal thing to tell someone. So then I just know what time you're gonna land, and like why are you making me feel like that's a strange thing and like a really like uptight thing for me to like want to know? But yeah, I won't go into like the ins and outs, but basically it just obviously wasn't what it was when we were in Italy, and there was just a few things, like didn't ask me any questions at dinner. Like we went for dinner, didn't ask me any questions. Apparently he was like unwell. I don't like, guys, it's too much to get into. But we left things of it just being like, you're you. He was like going traveling and stuff as well. I was like, you just go and do you. I'm gonna do me, and I think we just need to like put this to bed. But I feel really good about the situation because, like I said, even my friends will tell you, like he was just all I like thought about, and I think it prevented me from even like wanting to get to know anyone else over like the last year or so. Obviously I like underwent some like changes myself, like within myself, that I was adjusting to, and you know, therefore like dating just like wasn't the forefront of my mind until like I was totally confident and happy with myself. And yeah, like it's just like after this I'm just like, oh my god, I feel like I have complete closure on that situation. Like I never feel like I want to get drunk and text him, do you know what I mean, and be like, oh, miss you, like anything like that. Like I don't feel that way. I literally feel like I got all the answers from that little situation, and that's fine. We move on. Do you know what I mean? Like I feel, even though it didn't obviously end, I don't know how I thought it would end, but like, or like how I thought it would go, should I say, but like it's fine. That's what I really have to say on it, and that's the update on that. I feel like I'm sharing a lot, guys. I've only really had like 2 sips of wine, so we can't even blame it on that. I feel like this video is going to be very long, but a lot of people are saying, any more dates? Like the update on the dates, guys. No more dating, but I feel like all the bad energy that maybe was on me, I had within myself with regards to dating, it's gone. Like I'm ready to tap in to my higher power. I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to receive. These are all of the things that like I'm just like put out there into the world. And we'll just see, shall we? Who knows? Maybe something is coming up in the pipeline with regards to me and dating. Who knows? But anyway, let's get into some hot topic stuff. Somebody says, want to know your opinion on the Beckhams versus Peltz drama. Oh my gosh, when that all came out, why was that like? Why does that also feel like a year ago? So much happens every freaking month, like every week, that all of these events just feel like the longest time ago. I'm not even joking. I think the truth lies somewhere in the middle. I'm sure like it's come out that the stuff that happened at their wedding like is true. Like whoever that singer guy was, guys, my memory is so bad. Whoever that singer guy was, which he should have come to the front and freaking cleared it all up, but I think somebody else did. I'm sure he did welcome to the stage like the prettiest woman in the room, and it was Victoria. I think that actually was confirmed. And if I was the bride, that would upset me. But what I'm gathering was I don't think it was the first dance. They'd had their first dance, but it was just like, it was like the third dance that Mark Anthony, that's the guy. I think when he got on stage to like sing, does he sing? Is he a singer? I don't even know. Nicola and Brooklyn had like, or they had had a first dance, but I think, yeah, it was just the way that he brought her on, as in Victoria, on for like the son mother dance was upsetting. It was tea. I hope like we get more like clarification. It always makes me sad when I feel like family drama has to like unravel online and it's so public. But guys, I'm sure like there's some things that Brooklyn said that I believe, because things like swirl around like within the industry and you hear things all of the time about people, about celebrities, because most people that work in PR have probably once upon a time worked from a different PR agency, bounced around and have actually like encountered celebrities, and like sometimes they spill some tea. And I'm sure that there's been stuff about allegedly like David and Victoria, like of them like not perfect over there, which is some of the things that like Brooklyn was saying. So I don't actually really know. I think the truth lies somewhere between the middle. It was tea for a hot minute, and then now it's all got serious, and it's all serious stuff in the news again. Just remember, guys, there is a lot of negativity like in the news at the moment. It's very serious stuff. It's good to be aware and like educated. Everything I just seem to read in terms of the news is just bad. It's like the bad things after another. So I tried to like find, I'm sure there was like an Instagram page that actually was like sharing some positive news, and I was like, I think this is what I need to be following. Like I need to be reminded that there are good things happening in the world as well, and I really recommend that you guys do that too, because it can be so easy to be completely consumed in obviously the serious stuff that's happening, but it is negative and you don't realize how bad it is like having an impact on your thoughts and in your brain. Somebody said, thoughts on all the Love Island drama, bullying and Mean Girls stuff. There has been a lot of that, hasn't there? And it's hard because I know Sammy. I don't know these girls very well at all, but I know Sammy. I would say that we're friends. I've met Lucinda a couple of times. I think we were at the same event once and someone had commented like on our social media stuff that like we looked really similar, so we kind of like giggled about that together once, but that was like a long time ago, so it's hard to like comment. I've never really hung out with either party a lot to like really know who they are as people. I was kind of like the same as you guys, just sort of watching it unravel. And again, I think there will be a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that like we don't know, that would kind of play into like their existing characters and like how they're already known like amongst people. I don't know Belle at all, so I can't really comment like on that. I do think I'm like similar to most people in the sense of, at first I thought she kind of had like every right, and I did think like the baby voice was like a bit annoying. I just didn't really get it. I like felt like I was like losing brain cells like listening to them speak. But I suppose it is quite normal to be, when you're like feeling like you really lovey-dovey with someone, like you just feel like you're in a bit of a bubble and you do cringy things. But obviously when you're watching it on TV, it can be, you're just like, I didn't sign up. I'm not part of that bubble, so for me it's giving cringe. But no, I think at first I kind of rated Belle like standing on her ground, but then God, as the episodes went on, not everything warrants a really loud shouting argumentative tone, and that also comes from a place of, for me, if you are to shout at me, that's not going to work. Like I think that might stem from like childhood, like being shouted at, but just shouting at me is not an effective way to communicate with me at all. And I really can't stand people that also bring that out of me, like that make me shout, because that's not who I am. Like I'm not a shouter. I don't like to be shouted at. So if I've actually got to a point of rage where I'm shouting at you, oh my God, we just need to understand that we are not meant to be friends. I'm not going to try and be friends with you. Like if you bring that side out of me, I hate that side of me. Like I think it's such, like I like to feel, I think it also stems from me being not complete control freak, but I am when it comes to myself. So for me to shout, I feel like I've lost control of my emotions there and like how to handle myself. And yeah, but I think for her, perhaps that's actually a bit more of like a natural reaction to things. I think there's a lot to unpack there, and I think I saw little clips of the podcasts that I think Sammy and Lucinda have done. And obviously, I absolutely love Paul. He was one of the first people that I interviewed for my podcast, and he is just so intelligent and emotionally intelligent and a really great person to have a conversation with. So I'm actually quite glad perhaps he was the one. I would actually love to see him have a conversation with Belle for that reason, because I think there's so much to unpack. And he has a very gentle way with words of just like helping people understand themselves. And he's very good at articulating himself. So I would actually love to see that. I wonder if that's in the pipeline, because he obviously gave Lucinda a chance to help her see and help her articulate herself, because I don't think that's her strong point. And I don't think Belle is very good at articulating herself, but hers comes from a place of like, it just comes out in like anger. Whereas I think she needs to be in an environment where you're not given the opportunity to shout. You actually need to listen and watch yourself back and ask yourself like why you felt the need to sort of handle it that way. Do you know what I mean? I think we can't really comment. I know it's the classic like 24 hours in a day stuff, but there will have been so much that we didn't see. But obviously the stuff that we did see was, it progressively got like worse and worse, and I don't condone like anyone to feel like isolated or, you know, spoken to. But there were so many things that happened on this season of All Stars. I'm sure I made a TikTok basically, because at the start it was like, actually I found it really difficult to watch. Like, I think a lot of the girls were being spoken to like shit, and it wasn't just from each other, like the way that Shaq was speaking to Whitney, and like the comparison of the way that he spoke to Whitney to the way that he spoke to Sammy. Like, it was just uncomfortable, and you could kind of see where that was coming from. There was a lot of uncomfortableness, I think, in this season of All Stars, and I kind of hope it's the last one. Sorry to all the Love Island girlies that I'm friends with. I don't think any of you need to put yourself in that situation to go on to it, because I just think this season showed that it's clearly a very, very intense atmosphere that like no one needs to put themselves into. Someone said, have I listened to Harry Styles' new album? Guys, the day I'm filming this, I'm pretty sure it came out today. And I did listen to it when I was driving to go and do my food shop. He has taken a very different like musical turn, some would say. I've never called myself a Harry Styles stan. I actually don't think I ever thought he was like the most attractive one in One Direction. I think I was a Zayn girly. If I was going to be anything, I think I was a Zayn girly. But I was never like a Directioner or anything like that. But the thing about me is that I can appreciate like all genres of music. I actually really like being introduced to new genres of music, new artists. Like, I love it. Obviously, Harry Styles has been around for ages. Really loved his Brit's performance. Like, I thought that was so fun. And I think he's trying to be, I don't know, is he tapping into a bit more of like a fun side? I think for ages he was just so, you only really spoke about like his relationships and who he was dating, and like that was just all of the tea, and like the paps were just like everywhere, that I think it forced him to have his like back up a bit and be like super serious. So I'm glad to see perhaps he's having a bit more fun. Guys, Harry Styles, I don't know like what the fandom is called, but like, would I be wrong to say that? Or is that right? Because I saw him on Brittany Broski's podcast, and I thought that is such an amazing move for him to do, because she is like his number one fan, and that's been quite evident, and like everyone was just like having a meltdown for her. And I love collabs like that, where, you know, two worlds collide and that person's audience just knows with them how much that would mean to them. Low-key, obviously mine's like very lower on the scale of that, but like with me and my Matt collab, like I kind of could see in the comments, and I knew you guys would be just as excited as I was to like see that partnership because of my history there with them. So I just love it when things like that happens. And from the clips I saw of that podcast, like it looked like he was actually having fun and like a good time, and like promoting himself in like a fun way, which I liked. But I think with this Harry album, because it's such a different sound, like I'm probably gonna have to give it a few listens before I can get back to you on a favourite song. Someone asked again about TV shows that I'm watching. Obviously, I've just finished Bridgerton. I watched 56 Days. I thought that was really good. I need to watch Love Story. I think that's next on my list. I need to watch a lot of the old series that have been around for a while. My uncle told me I need to watch Schitt's Creek. He was like, you'll love that. So I think I really need to just like sit down and actually watch that. I want to watch Love Story. I think I just said that because that looks good. What else do I want to watch? Oh, guys, this isn't about watching anything, but I think as someone that I like to read, okay? But like I read very little, but I'm not opposed to a good book. I'm just like, when it came to like ACOTAR and stuff, I feel like I want to give it another go. My friend even said to me, she's like, I really want you to try and give it another go. I just think because there's like so many like whimsical names in there that were really throwing me off, and I was like falling at the first hurdle because I was like, I couldn't even pronounce the names of these characters, so it was really pissing me off. And I'm also a very visual person, and I was just like struggling to picture it. Do you know what I mean? Like when I'm reading, I kind of want to be able to picture it, and I just couldn't. And then that was like disencouraging me to read those books. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, this isn't something that like I want to watch, but I think I need to get the Quinn app. Because Alex from Tell Me Lies, oh my gosh, he was so hot to me in Tell Me Lies, that the fact that they got him on the Quinn app, which by the way, guys, I think it's like an app where they get sexy people on to read like smutty books, and it's just perfection, apparently. So it's not necessarily a series that I'm going to watch, but I want to get the Quinn app, and I want purely to listen to, is his name like, why can't I remember anyone's name? This is, guys, I'm concerned. It's like D'Angelo. I can't remember, but you know who I'm talking about. If you know, you know. And I'm pretty sure like Hudson Williams and Connor Story have done one too, and I just need to listen to that. I had a lot of people ask me about boob updates, and I feel like I never really did one, did I? You've just kind of seen me progressively like get my titties out like on Instagram, like in lounge posts and things like that. But guys, they're honestly like my perfect boobs. Like they really, really are. I suppose I shouldn't have expected anything less, being fortunate enough to have them done by like one of the best boob surgeons in the world. I think I'm actually going to see him, you guys, when I go to LA for Stagecoach. He's been trying to get me on his podcast because he has a podcast. He like interviews other incredible surgeons and guests, and I think we tried to do like liaise, and like it would have had to have been over Zoom, but obviously because we're just in different time zones, he has an incredibly busy schedule. We just never could have made it work. Again, I was also just like super busy with things, but I've like said to him like, I'm gonna be back in LA like for Stagecoach, so shall we actually make this happen? And he said yes. So I might record a little podcast episode with Garth when I'm in LA, which will be so fun, and we can talk all things titties then. So obviously nearer the time, I say nearer the time, it's March now and I'm going in April, so it's literally next month. But nearer the time, I will ask you guys if there's anything, although he's going to be like talking to me, asking me questions, I think. But if there is anything that you want me to discuss with him, like I'll be given the opportunity to do it there. So there might be the opportunity there. So let me know. But honestly, they're great, to be honest. I feel like I've got such a perfect natural result, obviously because I had a lot of breast tissue there before. I don't know, I think I did say it obviously in all of my videos where I was talking about my boobs, but I didn't get a reduction. And I think people get confused between a reduction and a lift. I had a lift and implants. A reduction is where they would actually like, perhaps like your boobs are so big that they have to take internal fat away. They didn't take any internal fat away from me because I barely like had any anymore, to be completely honest, from where I'd like lost weight from my boobs. So what they do is that they just like push and lift that. So if anything, like I think they got rid of skin, but it would have been like external skin, because then that's how you get that lollipop scar, because the cut down the middle, that's where they like re-sew it back together. Pretty graphic, I know, but yeah, so I had no internal fat removed, which is why I think the only uncomfortableness that I felt was possibly like those couple of weeks post-surgery where your body is just adjusting to the pressure of the implants. I think I saw like Jazz and Holly McAllister, they'd got their boobs done recently, and it's so sad. Like I don't think they had like the best experience with their doctors, but also just like with the recovery of it. but I have a feeling that they actually had a reduction. So they would have actually had fat taken away, which hurts. Obviously, you've had something taken out of your body to get rid of fat, which you have to do, like burn it away. Do you know what I mean? To like be able to take out the body, cut it out. So I can understand why they're going through like a lot more pain, but I've been trying to advise them the best I can. We've been like on the DMs and stuff, but no, in terms of like my results, I still have the lollipop scar, but it is fading every month. Like it gets less and less. It's not even been a year. So most scars, like post-surgery scars, you either have them for life or it at least takes like over a year for them to completely disappear. But no, I am so happy with them. So much so, like, if you see me topless in Ibiza this year or like in any holiday, mind your business and maybe join me. But the titties need to be free this summer. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple more because I feel like this is like already like an hour long. And I need to have some dinner. But guys, I'm already like loving this setup and this vibe. So let me know if I need to make this more of like a monthly thing, so we can like have monthly debriefs, so just about like life and things in general. So let's do one more. And I know you might feel like I've not answered like a huge amount of questions, but guys, when I say a lot of you guys just ask me the same stuff, so like I've got loads of questions, don't get me wrong, are 95% of them like, how was the date, what's the dating life situation, like, so therefore I have already answered it. I'm not joking. How did your date go? We never heard. How did the date go? Again, TV shows that you're loving at the moment. Tell me the gossip about Mr. Italy. See? Okay, this is a fun one. And I always think about this. So I'm going to leave it here on this question. Celebs that you're convinced you'd vibe with. I love this question. Okay, first of all, I think if I met Drake, I just think he'd find me hilarious. Maybe I'm delusional. I don't know. I just think he'd think I'm this like posh, crazy girl, and I just hope that we could have like a peach leanie together and it would just be fun and a vibe, like not even on a like romantic level. Like I just think he'd either think I was really annoying or really fun. I also think that about Jack Harlow, random one, of just like I think we would vibe and get along. I think I would get along with Zara Larsson. I really do. Like, from all of her TikToks and stuff, I just do think we're on the same page about like everything and just the same vibe and the same amount of like silliness, and I just love her. Cliche, guys, I do think me and Miss Jenna would get on. I do, like, again, I also think we have like a similar sense of humor from what I can see and gather. Although every time I do something with Kylie Cosmetics, like for example, we just went to Paris and like I was wondering like, oh my god, I wonder if she'll be there. You know, sometimes Hailey turns up on the road trips. Like I wonder if Kylie would, and I do always ask the girls, I'm like, is she coming? She'd either think I was completely insane. Number one, I wouldn't know how to approach her. Like, would I say, I don't want to say like, do you know who I am? But like, you know when you just want to be like, do you know who I am? Just like off the bat before I introduce myself, like, do you recognize me or no? The answer is probably no, let's be real. But she'd either, like, if I then obviously said to her, like, Kylie, like, you're the one, like, I'm the girl that you told your boob formula to, and I went and got mine done by Garth. Like, that's all because of you. Like, I would obviously have to tell her that, right? And say, thank you. And she'd either be like, oh my God, like, girl, and like just like it would be like that, or she'd be like, oh my god, this girl, it's her, like, call security, she, the girl that asks for too much, the hair tutorial and the tits. Do you know what I mean? I would hope that we would get on and vibe, and it would live up to like everyone's expectations that they think, and like my own expectations too. I would hope that the gays would love me, aka Hudson Williams and Connor Story. Like, I would hope, I think more Connor Story, I would get on with him. But I feel like that about loads of gay guys that I meet, and like they always say to me, I feel like in another life you were a gay man, and I'm like, I know, like I feel it too. I don't know what it is. It's just something that I give off. I literally don't even know. Gosh, I think the amount of footage that I've got, it's going to be at least an hour. So I hope you have enjoyed this little gossip TMI debrief about my life, hot topic, little catch up moment. Like, it's been a minute. I hope you had a glass of wine with me. I hope we are all conversing in the comment section, because I love it when we do that. But let me know if you like this setup and these vibes, or is this too much? I never have a microphone, so I could actually be editing this back thinking, oh my God, Rachel, never use a microphone again. I'm just praying that the audio sounds good. I would have hoped it would. It's meant to be a bit clearer with a microphone, you know? But I hope you enjoyed this vid. Next week, I'm gonna do a vlog. I'm vlogging next week, but at the end of the week, I am flying to Geneva. I'm going skiing with my friends. So by the time that a video goes up next week, I'll already be skiing, but I'm gonna do a little vlog while skiing for the following week. You see, so there will be a ski vlog, but I'm going skiing next week, but you won't see the ski vlog for 2 weeks. And then, you guys, oh my gosh, sorry, just suddenly remembered all of these updates to tell you. I go skiing with my friends, I come back for 2 days, and then me and Sarah are going on a little work trip with a brand. Should I tell you where we're going? No, I'm not going to tell you where I'm going. But just know that there's going to be another vlog the following week. It's another trip. It's just me and Sarah, and I've never been there before. It's going to be insane. So you've got all of that to look forward to. Let's cheers. Happy Sunday. It's good to have a gossip, and it's healthy to have a gossip, and it's good to share, or maybe overshare in my case. But I feel like I've sufficiently updated you on everything, and I'll see you next week, and I'll update you on my week then. Bye, guys.